Hi, my name is Jessi Frey and I've just released my first debut solo album called Villainess. I feel great. I've really enjoyed the whole process of making the album, which took only about a year from the initial idea that, oops, I think I'm making a record here. But also, I've released it independently, so I didn't really know what to expect. And I've been really surprised by the wonderful reception that it's got. The album went number 7 in the Finnish physical official charts, which I really didn't expect. So I'm very, very happy and excited about it. I used to be in a metal band called VELCRA. And VELCRA disbanded at the end of 2008, and I was kind of thinking of doing something on my own straight after, but I couldn't really figure out what it was going to be, and then I just left it. And I always say that, or kind of really strongly felt that this album actually wanted to make itself, however goofy that sounds, but the song ideas just started to emerge and come to me, and I was like, I'm done with music and I don't really want to sort of get into this again, but the songs just started to come out and I was like, well, I'll just see what happens, and it all happened very quickly and I really liked the songs and I suddenly felt that it all came together really easily and really quickly. I'm like, oh, I think I'm going to release a record, so I did. Before VELCRA came together, I was writing songs on my own and I was doing them from the sort of electronic basis. My big inspiration was the sort of German industrial gothic music, which is very electronic, and I would say that the metal kind of things came on top of VELCRA as we came together and became a band. But as a songwriter and as a musician, I would say my foundation is always in that sort of gothic, industrial, electronic music. And now when I went back on my own and worked on my own without the band, I sort of went back to my roots of electronic gothic music. Obviously, working with other people, I kind of bring my own elements and my own vision, but then you sort of work with other people and the end result is something that we create together. But this time I was just on my own from start to finish. I didn't even expect to really do it all on my own. But as the songs started to come together, I'm like, I don't think I actually need a guitar here, or I don't need other people. And I was, in the end, quite excited about the fact that I could do it all on my own and just create a vision that was all mine. It was really easy and really fun, and I was very surprised by that because I have, created several records before, and I know there's always a moment when, you have kind of a creative, like, what are we doing here? And I was like, I don't know, I felt really certain the whole time and really enjoyed the process. And in the studio I worked with Mikko Hirvonen, who was the drummer in VELCRA and who's a producer as well. And he helped me with some of the production sort of things that I wasn't able to do. But in the end, it was kind of a very last kind of the very final touches that kind of helped create that very professional sound. Yeah. I've lived in the UK before. I went to university in the UK. And actually, during that time at university, I shared my house. So my housemates were German guys, and I would say that they were actually one of the biggest influences to my discovering industrial music. And Bristol has a very diverse musical background, obviously. Massive Attack and Portishead and all these bands are very have really kind of influenced me as well in terms of electronic music. I was used to go out with a DJ, and I was just kind of playing with a DJ and kind of doing the club scene in Bristol. And what I do like about the Bristol music scene that it's also quite dark, and even if it has like a Caribbean influences and lots of influences, it's still quite a dark street music, which is cool. I program all my music, and I always start with the beat and the bass. So those are really the two things that I work with, and once I have the beat and the bass, then I'll write the vocals, and then I'll write lyrics. So they always kind of go in that order, and I think everything else is decoration. So for me it's the beat and the bass and the vocals, and when they work then the rest is just kind of like filling up the, you know, color in the empties. There is a theme overall, which is the villainess. So I think a lot of the things that I needed to overcome personally when I was writing the album was really this kind of idea that I was able to do it, and that it's fun, but it's also evil, and not in a terms of like evil, but like Disney villainous evil. That it's I have a song on the album called "I Want to Be Evil," which is a cover song, and it has quite fun lyrics, and I kind of wanted to blend this idea of, you know, dark sounds and dark message, but with, you know, humor and this kind of overall sort of concept of independence and just doing what you want. I think that's really the thing. We often, as people, limit ourselves too much because we think that we need other people's approval or somebody to give us permission to do what we want, when in the end of the day we don't really need it. And I think that theme sort of plays in some way or another in all the lyrics. You know, and I wanted to keep it quite playful rather than like I'm exercising my demons and my bad feelings here, but more like celebrating the fact that, you know what, it's not that serious, and we can do whatever we want if we just do it. I kind of believe that as an artist I can only sort of do half of the job, which is this is what I had to express and these are the things that I, you know, enjoy. And then when I put it out there, then it's really up to the people what they take out of it, and it's the other half. So I cannot really control, or I don't really, you know, I don't intentionally say if I do this then people will experience that. But at the same time it's always interesting also to kind of hear back what people do make out of it and what is important or what songs spoke most to them. And I always think that it's kind of like, it's not just my project, but it's kind of the experience comes out of both sides coming together. I have been asked if I'm going to tour with this album, and the answer is no, because I really want to do my next album first, and also because I've toured before, I know it's quite a big project to put together a show and find the people to work with, and right now I don't really feel like I really want to focus on that right now, that I'm really dying to create the next album. But I'm getting together with my band VELCRA, and we're going to be playing a gig on the 11th of October. We haven't been together, and I haven't been on stage with them for almost 11 years, so it's going to be really fun, and really fun to get back together with the guys, and also there are a lot of people who actually never had the chance to see us as VELCRA, or they were too young, you know, they weren't allowed to the venue. So there's a lot of excitement, a lot of people coming, so it's going to be super fun. We were asked to do it, and we have been asked a few times in the past. But this time we just kind of felt like, well, you know what, guys, let's just do it. And yeah, it was like, I always joke that this could be like a great Spinal Tap movie if somebody was to follow us, because we're like, okay, so the bass player lives in centre Finland, I live in England, and all the rest of the guys are here and there, and we haven't really played together, you know, in over 10 years. So it was kind of like, okay. But really it's like like riding a bike, you know. We've had a few rehearsals, and after the first kind of few rounds we're like, this is going well, this is sounding good, and now we're really excited to do it. We've played Nostri many times, and it was one of the first venues that we ever played, probably our third gig or something, and we've played many times there since, and it's always been a really nice place for us to play. It's always been really full for some reason, so we've always had, like, we have lots of really fond memories. And obviously, you know, Nostri as a venue is super significant for Helsinki music scene. So it's a real, it's a real big thing that it's going to go away, and there isn't really, as far as I'm concerned, there are no plans really for like what happens next. So yeah, we're very honored and excited to be part of the farewell party. I call it dark synth pop. So it is synth music, definitely with that dark edge. I've been very influenced by sort of gothic industrial music, but also 80s synth pop like Eurythmics and Depeche Mode. So I think that's probably the most descriptive way to call my music. Dark synth pop, that's what it is. Perhaps the difference is that it is not a depressed album, it's not coming out of a deep dark place, but it is playful and fun, and I was really enjoyed the process of making it, and it was easy and it was fast and it was fun, and I think that's probably where that sort of sparkle comes from, that it's not depressed, but it's just fun. I have actually a couple of songs left over from the sessions of Villainess, which I want to finish. And I do have these ideas, and I have some like lyric ideas and things like that. And I'm like, I really wish I had 5 minutes in my life so I could just get back to it. But I've had to wait until because I work also in seasons. So when it's the songwriting season, I don't really do very much else. And then there's the visual part, like when you do the photo shoots and the album covers and all the art part around the music, and then now is the release, and I kind of take care of all of them myself. So I kind of feel like I need to concentrate on one thing at a time, and then when this season is over, then I can't wait to get back to my little home studio and start working on the music again. We did a couple of videos ourselves as VELCRA. And OD, who was my partner in crime in VELCRA, does movies. So we kind of learned that music video part already at that time. And then when it was time to do some videos for Villainess, I already had these few ideas that I wanted to play with, and then I was like, well, I'm just going to make them and see what happens. And I think they work. We'll see what happens next time. So when I do more, because my gear is very limited, so I can only play with a few visual ideas. So maybe I will work with other people going forward, hopefully. I hope you enjoy the record. I hope you get a chance to listen to it. It's all on Spotify, obviously, but also if you check my website, jessifrey.com, it's also available as a CD and vinyl. And perhaps what I would like to mention here is that when I was releasing the album, initially I was just going to do it digitally, and then a lot of people just kind of reached out to me and said, well, I hope you're going to release it as a CD, I hope you're going to release it as a vinyl. I'm like, what? I hope you're going to release it as a cassette. No, I'm going to do cassette. But because of that, I decided to release it as a CD and a vinyl. And to do that, I put together a crowdfunding campaign, and just to kind of see, like, did people just kind of ask for it, or were they actually going to buy it? Because creating CDs and vinyl is actually quite a big project. And expensive as well. So I put together the crowdfunding campaign, and it was a real success, and I really felt also that it was a really lovely way to work, because it wasn't just business, but it was us coming together again, like I mentioned earlier, that my part is sort of half of it, but then the audience brings the other part, and I felt again this is a way of doing this together with people who enjoyed my music. So I'm really proud of the CD and the vinyl that we've made together.